Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Full and Thriving podcast. I am so excited because this is a solo show today. And today we will be talking about how to stop being stuck and start living in your truth, right? And I've actually developed this brand new method called the Climber Method, which outlines 7 things you can do to stop being stuck and start truly living the life you want to live. Every single day, I talk to clients who feel stuck in certain patterns, stuck in certain lifestyles. And in order to change, there are a few things everybody can do to actually make a difference and kind of clear out that stagnant energy that they are living in and getting used to and feeling not good about. So that's what we have in store for all of us today. And I wanted to also announce to all of you, because if you've been listening over the past few weeks, I have made it my goal this year to do more speaking gigs, such as keynotes, workshops, you name it, conventions. I want to be there speaking to people in real life. And since I spoke to you last, I've actually booked a new convention in a few weeks out in Greater Cincinnati. So I want to thank the Pi Sigma Epsilon community for inviting me to speak at their national convention. And I'll be talking to them about community and connection and the mindset traps and reframes that they need to get out of their own way and build quality connections when meeting new people. And so it's really this great talk about what mindsets keep you stuck, which is actually really appropriate for today's episode, and how to reframe those thoughts so that you can finally build meaningful connections in life and in your career. And of course, because it's me, these people who are listening to the talk will also be learning different strategies they can take home to apply what I teach in real life. So there you go. Thank you, Pi Sigma Epsilon, for hiring me. I'm so excited. It is a true honor for having me join you in just a few weeks. And so with that, I wanted to remind all of you that this is my goal. And if you have a speaking opportunity you would like me to speak at, whether it's a conference, convention, retreat, online conference, virtual meeting, I am here for you. I am speaking to Greek organizations, corporations, universities. If you have a community that you think would benefit from learning from me, I am here for you. So if you want to learn more about what I do or read testimonials, I have a speaker kit in the show notes that you can download and share with your event organizer. Okay, I wanted to jump in to the Climber Method. So are you someone who really feels like no matter what you do, you're stuck in this pattern of not making change? Are you overthinking your situation but not taking action? Are you self-reflecting but nothing's changing? Essentially, are you stuck? And if you are stuck, the Climber Method is for you. This is a method I have developed. And if you can connect with even half of these ideas and take action on a few of them, I promise the energy in your life will change. And I want to start with asking all of you to reflect on in what ways are you feeling stuck in your life at the moment? Is it professionally? Do you feel like you're stuck at a job that you can't really learn and grow from? Or maybe there's no path or progression forward. Maybe it's a dead-end job where there's no promotions available. There's no salary increases available. Maybe you're just bored out of your mind. Are you in a relationship that is unfulfilling and maybe even unhealthy. I know I've definitely been stuck in relationships in the past and didn't really know what to do about it because it's comfortable. You still love the person, even though maybe it's not the healthiest for you. And it can feel really difficult to be stuck because one part of you wants to change and the other part of you wants to stay the same. Classic situation. Are you stuck in your eating disorder recovery? Do you feel like no matter what, you are talking to your therapist, your dietitian, your coach, and it feels like 1 minute your dietitian's making a recommendation, and the next minute it's time for another session and you haven't really made any changes yet? Do you feel like you keep having the same conversations over and over again with your therapist? Like you understand the roots of your disorder, but you haven't made change? That's another place where people might be stuck. And if you are feeling stuck, I want you to know that you are not alone. This is something that I've experienced. This is something many people I know experience. It is a typical, normal human experience to have periods of your life where you feel like nothing is changing. And I like to say this to my clients: nothing changes when nothing changes. Essentially, a lot of the times when you are stuck, there's not much happening. And so I want you to use the climber method to take action and get yourself to a place where things are happening again. Changes are being made. Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. And that is probably why you are stuck. And I want you to get honest with yourself with this inner reflection and ask yourself, why am I stuck? What is stopping me from making the changes I need to make to have a more fulfilling life? So here is the climber method. I'm going to go through it step by step with you. And these are not in any specific order, but the word climber can help you remember what options you have when it comes to getting yourself to make changes. The first part of the climber method is C, and C stands for communicate. Now, what do you need to say that's not being said in your life? Who do you need to communicate with? What do you need to express? Whenever I work with my one-on-one eating disorder recovery clients, if they are stuck in the food stuff and can't seem to really make changes, oftentimes it's connected to not being able to make changes in their relationships. And there is typically a part of that person that isn't being expressed clearly or communicated to others that are important to them. So maybe that's a family member or a sibling or their boss, whoever it is. Something isn't being clearly communicated. So I want you to check in with yourself. And if you are feeling stuck, what do you need to communicate to others? Is there something in your family dynamic that needs to be communicated? Remember that your needs matter and people cannot mind read. This is a pattern I see a lot where people who are stuck expect other people to know what's happening and expect other people to step in and help, but they haven't communicated their needs and they haven't expressed what is going to help. And maybe when people do offer help, they are pretending they're fine. So if you are not okay, communicate that. If something is bothering you or if you feel mistreated, communicate that. And that might help change the energy of the situation you're in. I know a lot of people feel a sense of relief when they can finally communicate the things that have been on their heart with the people they care about. So, what in your life needs to be said, and who do you need to say it to? So, that's the C, communicate. The L in the climber method stands for learn. If you feel stuck, what can you learn to further your knowledge? This is something I think about when it comes to things like career, but it can also be related to other areas of life. For instance, if you feel stuck in your career and maybe you are applying to job after job and nobody's getting back to you, maybe it's time to further your knowledge. What classes can you sign up for? Is there a certification you can take? Is there a book you can read? I find learning has the ability to really change your life. Think back to a book that you read that sparked an idea in your mind that changed the course of your life. All you need is one sentence in that huge book to change your life. That's why I think it's really important to seek out new learning. Maybe you take a class and you learn about a new type of profession that you had never heard of before. Maybe you take a class and you meet somebody who can connect you to a job that is your dream job. I'm using professional change, professional learning as an example, but this could also be related to your mental health. What can you learn about psychology that can help you further your knowledge and get to a better place? Maybe in relationships, what can you learn about love and attachment styles that can help you move to a new place? So again, you have that learning piece of the puzzle to help you change that stuck energy, to help you shift into a new mindset, to help you see the world a different way. So we have C, we have L. I is initiate. If you feel stuck, you have to take action. Initiation is such a powerful word. To take initiative means that you are a go-getter. When I think of the word initiation, I think of beginnings. I think of starting something. And when you are feeling stuck, the most helpful thing you can do for yourself is start something new. I want you to think back to a time you were stuck in your life. I am betting that you had several ideas on things you could do or things that you could start doing that would help you get to a better place. Maybe if you feel like your self-esteem is in the gutter, you could start limiting your time on social media. Or maybe you could start initiating conversations with new people so you could make more friends. There are so many things in life that we all think about starting but don't. And there's something really empowering and freeing about committing to the thing you've said you were going to commit to, or doing the thing you've always wanted to do. I know for years I wanted to start a podcast, and it took me at least 1 year to get my act together to record and actually publish an episode. But when I finally did, I felt so alive, I felt so aligned, and it created momentum for the rest of my recovery coaching career. So if you feel stuck, think about all the things you know you could do to get you out of this place. And I ask you to start one of them. What is that one thing you can start today that gets you to a better place? So we're going with my climber acronym. The M stands for move. So if you are stuck, I want you to move. You can interpret that in every way you want. That could be move your body. That could be move locations. That could be move houses. That could be move from your current job to a new job. Basically, this is kind of that. This could be as small as going to yoga classes and moving your body to move the energy, the stuck energy through you. Or it could be large scale moving to a new continent so that you can have a new environment and start fresh. And then there's all those other forms of movement in between. I think of it as M, making moves as well. So making the moves that you need to make so that you have a fresh start, right? So you can feel refreshed. Maybe it's move the furniture around your room. Maybe it's move in with a new roommate or move out and get your own place. I feel like sometimes when we are stuck, we need to take drastic action. And this word move could symbolize that drastic action that really changes your environment and therefore your energy. For instance, I know many of my clients, when they move to a new apartment, they feel refreshed, they feel motivated to try new things, to start healthier habits. And when I think of the word move and you think of the word move, we might have definitions, but the bottom line is changing the energy and the environment. Okay, everyone, I hope you are taking notes. This is a 7-letter word, the word climber. And this is really meant to inspire you to get unstuck. And I'm currently on the B in climber, and B stands for build. I want you to build new routines for yourself. I want you to think about the small things you can do every day to just slowly move the needle towards change. For instance, maybe going to an exercise class will give you more positive energy throughout the day. And if you can do that twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, that will give you a sense of joy, a sense of strength in your body. And maybe you'll start meeting new people and making new friends. And by doing this throughout the week, your life will start to change. And because you have this new element in your life, you're going to feel like a different person. And it's just because you made one change. It's just like if you decide to start meditating in the mornings. That moment of connecting to stillness, even though some days you might not even be still mentally, maybe your brain is going a mile a minute, the habit of sitting and being still for a short period of time will bring you a new level of self-awareness, a new level of calmness by in with yourself and quieting the nervous system down in the morning. And that small habit can create a new version of you. You might start seeing yourself differently. Maybe you see yourself as a more mindful person. Maybe you see yourself as a more responsive person instead of a reactive person. When you can stick to a small change and a small new habit and let that habit build upon itself. Day to day, it might seem like a small thing, but if you do that thing 100 days in a row, you will transform. And that's what I love about the Be and Climb. Build the new you, brick by brick, right? This isn't M. M is the drastic change. B represents the small, manageable changes you can make day to day. I love the concept of build. I think that these small changes can transform your life and also your self-concept, which is pretty amazing. And maybe it's been your self-concept that has kept you stuck all of this time. Maybe you go from being someone who doesn't think very highly of themselves to someone who has confidence because you have evidence you can stick to small actions that support a better life for yourself. I know for me, whenever I do things that honor my values and my goals, I feel alive. I feel like a new person. I feel more confident than I did before. I love that. One of the best examples of B for my life has been several years ago before the pandemic when I started writing for medium.com. I was pretty much depressed, I think. I was living out in Colorado. I was in a relationship that really wasn't going anywhere and I knew it, but I didn't know how to leave. I didn't know what to do. I was just facing a lot. And I decided that in order to make progress in my life, I should write one article a day on Medium. And I had been blogging for a really long time, but nobody was reading my blog. What I loved about Medium was that people could find my writing more easily. And I wrote an article, was it an article a day or a week? For a very long time, several months, to the point where I gained skills as a writer. I started calling myself a writer. I started writing a book. I built up a small following on Medium. I was making semi-passive income. I was connecting with other writers online. I swear my entire self-concept changed. My confidence changed. I felt amazing. And it was just the act of setting my alarm early, waking up before work, and writing an article. I swear it was remarkable the amount of joy I felt and the drastic shift I felt in my mental health from feeling stuck and unhappy to feeling hopeful and alive and excited and full of promise. So think about what you can do to start building towards the life that you want, and that is Be and Climber. E in Climber is express your emotions. If you feel stuck, there's a big chance that your emotions have not been expressed, or you have an emotion stuck inside your body that needs to move through you. And this is different from communicate, which is the first letter in Climber, C, because you don't have to express your emotions verbally necessarily, although therapy is great. Communicating about your emotions is really productive in getting unstuck. But you can also express your emotions through art, through style, through poetry, through music, through movement, through writing. You name it, your emotions can be expressed in so many different ways. And when you can find that way that helps you truly express yourself and kind of get that emotion out of your body or let that emotion flow through your body, you're not going to feel so stuck. I find that when I feel stuck, there is usually a negative emotion that I can't shake. whether that's a feeling of burnout or a feeling of shame or maybe a feeling of stress, right? Being able to express that emotion verbally or physically or through art can make a world of difference. I like to think of this analogy I heard a long time ago about a kettle of water that's boiling with the lid on. And when it reaches a boil and the lid is on, it just starts like making, these, well, I guess a teapot starts to like scream, which is an interesting part of this visual. But it could also just like bubble, and the bubbles are rising and they're coming out of the edges of the pot. And I like to think of expressing your emotions as lifting the top off the pot or off the kettle, and everything calms down. When you express your emotions, all of that pressure, all of that tension that's building up, trapped inside, like a pot that's boiling on high with the top on. When you express your emotions, it's the same thing as pulling that lid up and letting everything calm down. It's like letting yourself take a big, deep breath and feel better. There's a sense of relief when you pull the top off of a pot that's boiling over, right? It's just like expressing your emotions. There is a sense of relief when you can finally let out what's been stuck inside of you. And last but not least, the final letter in my acronym, CLIMBER, to help you get unstuck is reconnect. And when I say reconnect, it could be with people or with yourself. So maybe you are reflecting on yourself and your values and checking in with what matters the most to you. Or you are reconnecting with your community. I know so many of us suffer alone. We suffer in isolation. And when we can reconnect with our community, we are reaching out for help and exploring new ways to move through the world. Because when we connect with people, we're constantly learning, exposing ourselves to new things, coming up with new ideas with other people, relating to other people, learning. When we reconnect, we are finding support in a new way. And I truly believe when you're feeling supported through community, you will feel a sense of freedom again. You won't feel so stuck. I remember last year, I went to one networking event. I hadn't been to a networking event in so long, and I love networking events. But I went to a networking event for female entrepreneurs, and it was so nice to connect with a community and also meet a bunch of people locally who have the same shared values as me, doing the same things, building businesses, following their dreams. And when I reconnected into the entrepreneur community in Connecticut for the first time, I ended up meeting so many people who became my friends. And now I know people who can help me with my business. I know a copywriter. I know a photographer. I know a marketing specialist. I know a bunch of other cool people who have businesses locally. And the beautiful thing about this is that all of these people are people I have met in person. And all of them were at the same event that I went to a year ago. I think this is magical. This is why community is so powerful, because when you can connect or reconnect with a community, you will build up your network. and your relationships. And relationships are what make life worth living. Dare I say that, right? It's proven to be something that actually increases your health and happiness, is the quality of your relationships. So when we think of the R in climber as reconnect, I want you to reflect on groups in your life that you've maybe been connected with before, or maybe these are new groups. Maybe it's not a reconnection. Maybe it's a new connection. But think about groups in your life who can lift you up and pull you out of this stuck energy. Maybe there's a conversation you have with somebody in this group that can just be the thing you need to move forward. Maybe it's reconnecting with your therapist. Maybe it's reconnecting with your doctor or your mom or your brother or your daughter. I find that connections heal. And in fact, being able to connect when you need it the most is a coping skill, right? It can be a form of coping. So when things feel really hard and unbearable, reaching out to someone you love or reaching out to a supportive community can be exactly what you need to get out of this stuck place that you're in. Okay. So there you have it, my wonderful friends. The word climber. That is how you get unstuck in your life right now. C, communicate. L, learn. I, initiate. M, move. B, build. E, express your emotions. And R, reconnect. Which one resonated the most with you? I'm so curious, when you were applying the climber framework to yourself while listening, what came up for you? What came across your mind as something you need to do to get out of this stuck place that you're in? No one likes to stay stuck. There's always a part of us that wants to keep moving forward. Progress is a natural human need. Humans want to make progress in life. None of us want to stay stuck. Some of us feel content. That's different than being stuck, right? Content means that you are comfortable and happy in the place that you are. But if you feel stuck, it goes against who you are as a human. Progress is how many of us measure our own success. So, where in your life do you want to make progress? And what's keeping you stuck? Try to apply the climber framework and see where that takes you. Okay. I hope all of you have a beautiful day. I hope this was helpful for you. And I will catch you next time on Full and Thriving. So there you have it. Another episode of Full and Thriving in the books. I want to personally thank you for joining me in listening to today's show. And if you found value in this conversation, I would be so grateful if you could please take a moment to subscribe to the show and leave a review. Your support not only helps us reach more people who are striving to live their most full and thriving life, but it also allows us to bring on even more incredible guests with valuable insights that can change your life. Every follow, every review makes a huge difference, and together we can continue to grow this beautiful community. Thanks again for being a part of the journey, and we'll see you next time on Full and Thriving.